Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on CW11.
And welcome into Home Track Heroes here on the CW11. Thank you so much for tuning us in here on a beautiful Sunday. My name is Caleb Hart, the 125-lap champion of the world. Chad Fitzpatrick joins us fresh off his win at the Central Welding 125 and into the co-pilot's chair for today's episode. Chad, first, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Second, we've got an exciting show today because guys who like turning right and left, we got a whole lot in store for them.
We got a whole bunch. We got 150 laps of figure eight nationals to get through, 300 times through the intersection tonight.
On top of that, Hornets are on the program, and they're going to turn right and left as well. We'll start it off with the one circle track race that we have here on the show. The Vintage Modifieds are in the house, so kick back, relax, enjoy, or maybe buckle up. Who knows? It could be an exciting show as let's get to your lineup for this first of what will be 5 main events on the program. Your front row for the Vintage Mods, Mike Clother, sponsored by Wrinkle in car number 7. And Shane Strimple, the 57, sponsored by Aaron's Olympic 4x4.
Car number 23 is Kyle Chess, sponsored by First Day Electric, and the 2 of Rick Villiard, sponsored by Archer Construction.
The third row, the 6 of Devin Ironman, and next to him, Steve Woods. Car number 22 is sponsored by First Day Electric.
The 82 of Vince Conwell, sponsored by Northwest Concrete Cutting, and on the outside, the 30 of Kyton Jones, sponsored by Benchmark Barrels.
Final row is Randy Adams. He's in car number 65. Next to Randy will be Dave Trapp's 51, and he is sponsored by Streamline Auto Body. 30 times around on the 3/8s here for the Northwest Vintage Modifieds, a touring group. You see them run all over the place here in Washington. Love having them for what is their second appearance at Evergreen Speedway this season. And 10 cars going to go 30 times around. It should be all kinds of exciting. Clother, Strimple, Cheth, Villiard, Ironman, Woods, Conwell, Jones, Adams, and Trapp. There's multiple different feature winners here in this field. And they should put on a good one. As let's get our first look. We're going quad box to start this off. Cheth from the inside of the second row. And Woods from the outside of the third row. Kyton Jones buried in the back of the field. And the whole field in the bottom left corner as we are green and underway.
So we're green as the first main event has started, as it looks like the 7 of Mike Clother will take the lead, but not for long, as it looks like the 57 of Strimple will try to take the lead as they go flying in turn number 3.
Strimple's got the advantage coming in and through the corner. Clother can't quite hold her down in the bottom groove, and that opens the door up for Cheth to try to make his way forward. Lap number 1 goes to Strimple. Strimple way high on the racetrack, trying to come down, but that allows Cheth to get inside. And Cale Cheth trying to work his way up into second.
Yeah, that was a great move by Cheth. Looks like definitely an issue with Clother as they go into turn 3, going from second to almost last in that one corner.
Yeah, he lost a whole lot of spots in a big hurry, and the doors open up for Rick Villiard, the Archer Construction number 2, rolling around the middle, and he is up second in the 2 car and trying to run down Strimple as they roll into the back straightaway.
And the person on the move right now is the 23 of Steve Woods. He is a definite winner out here in this division and in the street stocks in years past, so he is looking to move forward right now.
Woods is in that white with blue door panel number 22. Now again, Vintage Modifieds, the only thing vintage on these cars is the body style, as we might have some drivers making some body style repairs coming on here, as we've got more than a few of them around. The 82 of Vince Conwell and the 30 of Kyton Jones involved in that accident.
Looks like he just got off the backstretch, Jones that is, and just collected the 82 of Conwell right there.
So you can see, and it starts with Kyton overcooking it at the entrance to turn 3. He'll pick up and grab Conwell on the way by. 2 of the faster cars in the division, and, well, they'll go even further back in the pack with a few laps down and have to try it all over again. Here's the in-car from Kyton. Just like you said,
yeah.
Chad. Yep, just got the right side tires hung off the back by a little bit.
And with these open wheel cars, that could have been a lot worse.
For sure. Well, good news for them. It looks like whatever damage has happened is going to be minimal. We hope they join back up at the back of the track. As let's head back trackside.
It looks like they do.
That's right. All 10 cars are still out there. We got 3 in, and we got a bunch to go. 27 more happening as Strimple will bring us back down to the green flag.
Yeah, Strimple will grab the lead. A really good start for Strimple and a good start for Cheth on the inside, as it looks like they may not like that start. It looks like Strimple went a little too fast on that restart.
All right, Shane might have been premature. It's okay. It happens. Well, we'll have to regather them back up, but they have been pretty firm, and that they don't want you accelerating at the apex of the corner. They really want you keeping a very slow pace, almost all the way to out of the corner into the white line coming off of 4.
Yep, they want to keep pace car speed all the way up until you get to that white line, and then it's go, go, go at that point.
So Strimple's going to be given a second try at this from the inside of that row, as we'll watch on from Cheth on the outside of row number 2. And we're back to green.
And that was definitely much better. That is definitely what the racetrack wants to see right there, is they are still side by side for the lead. Maybe a little contact, but it looks like, I believe that was the 2 of Villiard grabbing the lead into turn 3.
Yep, Villiard, an excellent restart. Works around the outside. Tough break for Strimple, who had it and lost it. That's one of the things when you go double file on the restarts, anything can happen. Dueling 22 and 23 cars, Woods versus Cheth for third, and we got another one around. 65 of Randy Adams, facing the wrong way, now facing the right way, and we stay green.
Yeah, we stay green, exactly. That is exactly what the 2 of Villiard wanted to see, as he has a really good lead, and here comes, I believe that's the 22 of Steve Woods, as we got, another issue in turn number 2.
Well, cars around again in the corner, and one of them is Cheth's 23. The other one is Kyton Jones in the 30 car, a couple of the veterans in the division, although Kale is not all that particularly old. Around they go in the corner. Cloud of dust kicks up from Cheth's. Ooh, and Kyton, give him a little love tap.
Yep. And all the dust goes flying. And it looks like, just
wow. And put it right there. It's funny. You can see the tire smiley starting in the left rear quarter panel of the the Cale Cheth car right as contact was made. A really stark viewpoint of how hard these cars hit.
Yeah, when you're fighting for the same spot, that'll generally happen like that.
Well, 1, 2, 6, 8, 9, 10. They're all still out there.
Yeah, we haven't lost any.
5 laps in, multiple spins in, and they're all still running. Green flag is out. Here comes Steve Woods looking to take advantage of the restart. Up and into the lead he goes.
What a great jump by Woods as he will grab the lead off turn number 2. It looks like Conwell's going to try to maybe make a move on the 2 of Villiard as they go into turn 3. What a great move from Conwell, going from the back to the front in just 5 laps.
Yeah, early spin there for Conwell. He has absolutely rebounded in a big hurry. He rolls up in the back of Villiard as he's into a podium spot right there, and your top 3 try to get away from the rest of the field.
And Kyton Jones, who I believe won the last race out here, trying to go from the back to the front again. Been involved in 2 spins, so he has a little bit of work cut out for him.
Going to have to be a little more gentle, as that'll definitely put you on the officials' radar.
Oh, yeah. I think he might be at this point. And with those spins, it's definitely not good for his tires as well.
No, although these drivers very, very happy with their tire life. They say they get many races out of the rubber that they're on, so whatever compound the vintage modifieds are on, and the way they have them set up, they can get a lot of laps out of these tires. So, a couple of spin-outs not going to hurt you too bad.
Well, that's good. Definitely when they run on different tracks, multiple different tracks and surfaces throughout the Northwest. And back up front looks like it's Woods and Villiard. Villiard looks like he might be starting to catch Woods.
Yeah, left him for a second. Now Villiard, I don't know if it was a line change or what, but he is definitely rolling back in, and you can see this is a case of Villiard getting stronger as he has pulled away from Conwell in the 3rd spot, who had started to close up on him.
Yeah, it looks like. And the one thing that is different, all day on Saturday, it was warm all day. And now there's clouds, so I believe the track's probably going to tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, this overcast, I say overcast, or at least sun going down behind the clouds has cooled the surface off a little bit. Makes your tires work a little bit better as they're not massively overheating in our, hot Western Washington summer that's occurred all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. What the heck? So 1, 2, and 3, 19 laps to go. Woods, Villiard, Conwell just kind of barely hanging into the picture. You can see Villiard drifting up to the middle lane through the middle of the corner, but he hasn't been able to do anything with Woods yet as a car length separates the 2, and there is Villiard just picking up the pace. He is looking strong as we're going to flash back and watch the battle a little bit deeper in the field. In there, I believe that's Ironman 6 that's leading that pack around.
Yeah, I believe that's 4, 5, 6, and 7. That was Cheth on the outside, or the tail end of that battle.
Yep, Ironman, Strimple, Cheth, and Jones all involved. As we continue, it's strange. You got to kind of watch the front because Villiard will roll up on him, and now Woods sneaks away for a second, and then that back 4 close enough to do something as well, but really not right up on the back bumper of one of the cars in front of him.
Yeah, I think maybe the 22 of Woods might have a car that's better in the long runs, and the 2 of Villiard might have a better car in the short runs. So now I think it's starting to counterbalance itself because he's now starting to leave Villiard.
Yeah, you take a look at it. We're now 10 laps into this run. That caution had come out, 5 laps in with 25 to go. 10 laps in, and Woods is definitely stretching over Villiard. Villiard's gap between him and Conwell, though, not moving much. So it's a case of, you would assume Woods getting stronger as opposed to the other guys dropping off.
Yeah, and if you're Steve Woods, that's exactly what you want to see behind him.
Right, guys in the mirror gapping and going further backwards. Here's Strimple. Good run for Shane as he is up on the back of Ironman 6. Ironman's been a winner with the series in the Northwest. I believe he picked up a feature win at Wenatchee last year.
No!
That is Villiard, who got tagged by a slower car on the way by, and Villiard to a stop with parts and pieces hanging off, and
A spring going faster than his car right now.
Yeah, when the spring finishes further ahead, that's bad news. Here's a look at the replay.
Looks like just not enough room. Yeah, thought he was clear, and unfortunately he wasn't, and that's what happened.
Bet you that spring popped off the right rear.
I'm kind of guessing that.
Right.
That could have been a lot worse.
So that's where the contact occurred between the two of them. And unfortunately, it's not like you can get a coil spring back on a race car all that quickly. There's a lot that goes into swapping those out.
I'm guessing he might be done for the night.
Well, that stings for Villiard. A great run. He led for a little bit. He was in second, and that'll mess around with our top 3, as now 1 and 2, Steve Woods and Vince Conwell bring him down the front straightaway. Green is out. Devin Ironman running with Shane Strimple for the 3rd spot.
And a great move by the 82 of Conwell. Knew that the inside was going to be clear, and he went right down to the bottom as he goes to the outside a little bit too much in turn 3.
I mean, we saw earlier that's not the fast racing line according to the 30 of Kyton Jones. So everybody recovers. They'll roll back into 1, and now Conwell will see if he can figure out the combination to get by Steve Woods.
And Woods has, the 82 of Conwell has nothing for Woods at this point right now. I kind of noticed this the last time Conwell raced. He does really good through the middle of the corner, and then he loses it coming off.
I wonder if that's, and I don't know what these drivers are doing as far as throttle pickup goes into the corner, but I wonder if that's how hard he's driving into the corner and trying to catch up to it in the back end of the turn. Would that make some sense?
It does, and that very well could be. Turn 1 is a very odd corner. There is no camber going into turn 1.
Right.
It starts in the middle of turn 1. So it's a very odd thing.
Something we've talked about on the late models a lot, and you've experienced it. Turn 1 is really a tale of two cities. You can drive the car really hard into the first corner, but if you do that, you do have to kind of pedal to catch up to it on exit, or you can lift a little bit earlier in the corner, pick up earlier in the apex, and have a better drive off, right?
Yes, and then the other thing about turn 1 is it's never consistent because the tires are always in different spots too. Mm-hmm. So going into the turn in turn 1 is always different.
So, and what you're talking about is the Uke tires that are on the inside that a lot of the drivers will use as their marker for their turn in and their lift positions, right?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. We're learning more. That's what you're here for. Perfect. So it is Woods, Conwell, Ironman 1, 2, and 3 hanging out in the front of the field and enjoying some space in between them as neither of them are up on each other. You can see Woods going to put a lap down on, I believe Dave Trupp's 51 car was the one back there that he was scooting by.
And it looked like a good save by the 7 of Mike Clother was completely sideways through 1 and 2, able to keep it going. But out front, it's still Steve Woods with 7 laps to go. Vince Conwell and the 6 car Devin Ironman.
Ironman is not out of the woods yet for that 3rd position as that pack is nicely tucked in behind him. It is Kyton Jones and Cale Cheth who have both closed up on that battle for 3rd. We'll watch that coming into your screen. Off the 4th corner is Steve Woods just having a nice casual Sunday evening stroll here on Home Track Heroes.
Yeah, and a great battle, like you said, for that 3rd spot. Kyton Jones now, this I believe is the 3rd time coming from the back to the front, so he's definitely put in a lot of work. And Ironman kind of slowing them down a little bit, and Jones will look to the inside. We'll watch to see what happens.
Yeah, that's going to get narrow, trying to get in the corner number 1 if he's going to try to stick it in there. Here is Cheth and Jones. It's Cheth running in the 5th spot. Jones in the right-hand corner of your screen is running in the 4th position. Or do I have that backwards? I don't have that backwards.
No, you're good.
We're right. So following them on through, and both chasing Ironman, who is the gray and black car on the bottom ahead of them.
With a lot of dust on that car, the 30 car.
Did a little agricultural racing.
Yeah.
That happens. Cheth burying down to the inside, so Jones kind of committed now to the high groove as he cannot clear down in a hurry. because Chet's going to be right there if he is.
It's actually sometimes better to be in Jones's position because the 6 is clearly starting to slow down through the middle of the corner, so he'll already be set up if he can get the run to the outside of Ironman.
Here comes Strimple as well. He's not done with this as they're going to work around the slower car. And from the outside, you saw Chet had to let it breathe for a second to get around the lapper. So now that gives Jones another chance to attack, maybe change his line. As we are coming to the checkered flag, Woods is going to win, and well, Ironman around. Let's go to the podium for our top 3 and the DQ on Jones.
Cale, I think I gotta ask, you saw that incident in front of you when you were going through turn number 4 on the final lap. From your perspective, what happened there?
I don't know. It's not my problem to deal with, so I'm not going to comment on that.
You've had some solid runs out here at Evergreen Speedway. You like this track compared to all the others you run?
Yeah, it's a good track. It's like my home track. I started racing Hornets and street stocks here, so.
Who would you like to thank for this 3rd place finish?
My grandpa, John Woods, my family and friends that came out, all the fans that come out, and then my sponsors, Gino Campanelli Crane, First Day Electric, Underrated Company, Next Gen Remodel Northwest, Urker's Truck Repair, and I think that's it.
Driver the number 23, 3rd place tonight, that's Cale Cheth. Fantastic job out there, Vince. You managed to recover from that early on incident, make your way back through the front. What was the secret of putting that car back together and getting to the 2nd?
We were very fortunate he didn't hit us in the tire and blow a tire, but the car felt fine. I was hoping for a spin to win tonight, but it didn't happen.
Who'd you like to thank for that number 82 machine?
My family, Mountain Edge Venue, and Northwest Concrete Cutting.
Driver of the number 82, Vince Conwell, 2nd place tonight. All right, Steve, you got to the front pretty quickly there, held on to it. How did the car feel there as you were being pursued for those final few laps?
It was great. I just knew if I didn't make a mistake, I would take home the win.
Who would you like to thank for your amazing performance out here tonight?
Most of all, my dad, my John Woods, my wife, Rebecca Woods, Campanelli Crane, First Day Electric, AccuVac Furnace and Duct Cleaning. These little guys here that come out to watch me race. I love them. That's about it.
Driver the number 22, 1st place finisher tonight, that's Steve Woods.
Thanks for tuning in here to Home Track Heroes on the CW11. I'm Caleb Hart. He is Chad Fitzpatrick. And the first of our Figure 8 Nationals main events hits the raceway now. Here come the Buzz Inn Steakhouse Stinger 8s to the racetrack. They're going 50 times around, Chad.
I cannot wait. And so we got the 85 100 Jenkins up front and the 4 Gabriel Guevara, sponsored by the Loft Coffee Bar in Everett.
In the 2nd row, Damon Claiborne, the Abendroth Equine, developing the horse and rider number 43, and Derek Myers, the 73, sponsored by Bulldog Haven Northwest.
The 83 of Josh Beckel, and on the outside, the 49 of Calvin Miller, sponsored by Precision Forestry Inc. out of Arlington.
The 4th row is Michaela Larson, car number 57, sponsored by her husband Zach, and the 6 of Bryce Kolar.
And the 19 of Talon Kolar, sponsored by Ray's Espresso in Machias. 18J of Jackson Beckel, sponsored by JBR Racing.
6th row, Peyton Hopp, Papas in Monroe, sponsors the 16. Next to him, it's Charlie Davis in the 78 KC.
And we got a row of shoe cars. 111 of Ashley's Shoe Car, sponsored by Hop Racing, and the 78, her brother Kyle's Shoe Car.
Row number 8, the Whitby Donuts number 40, Vander Reinders, and the 102, another shoe car. It is Bullet Bob's shoe car in the B&R Drywall 102.
The 46, Mike Hathaway, sponsored by Rep and Welding and Rail. 151 of Cody Weldon, sponsored by Alply Roofing LLC.
Your final cars, positions 19, 20, and 21. Robert Smith's 42, Honda and Toyota of Seattle. Lance O'Grain's 1 in the Cox Wheels racing car. And Zach Bristol starting 21st on the field in the BMS Power Decals 07. 50 laps. Buckle up. Now, it's going to go relatively quick, but there's a lot of time for stuff to happen here.
We are green and 21 cars, and I'm going to just say this now, with 21 cars, no one is safe.
No, that means you're getting into the intersection early and often, as already over, around, and out of the picture goes Guevara's 4R, and they're 3 wide going into the North Pole, even better.
And up front, the 85 100 Jenkins, the 43 of Damon Claiborne, and the 83 of Josh Beckel up front. as they're still trying to side pretty much fourth on back.
There is smoke coming out of the 57 of Larson already. That's a bad sign with 49 laps left to go. This could be dangerous, letting Claiborne get out in front of this field as he takes the lead coming through the North Pole. Damon Claiborne out to the early advantage, and that's a guy who we've seen buried in this field a lot this year. Let's put him out front, let him rabbit. This could get really bad for everybody else in a big hurry.
And I think so, because we already have the 78 of Charlie Davis stopping in the intersection. You see them pointing to let the drivers know that he is there. We are already into the intersection traffic on lap number 2.
Oh, yeah, and that was a narrow miss already for Claiborne, as there goes Larson bouncing off somebody and already sticking his nose in. And, oh, boy, commentators curse as Larson around off the Uke tire on the South Pole. Caution flag, our first of the race, comes out, and just look at the flood of race cars all trying to make their way through. Here's a look at Peyton Hop.
Oh, my.
Yep, quick. Showing the hand in the window. Slow down, slow down.
It's like just
little help from Derek Myers in the 73. So, all right.
Those tires don't even try.
No, well, they're evil tires. They should be punished, right? They have no forgiveness. Back to the track we go. We're only 3 laps in. This segment brought to you by Buzz Inn Steakhouse. They serve hand-cut Angus steaks, breakfast all day, mouth-watering burgers, and more. Visit one of their 13 locations. Buzz Inn Steakhouse, proud sponsor of the Stinger 8 Division.
And up front, we got still the 43 of Damon Claiborne taking it back to green, and a great run by the 85 of Hunter Jenkins as we're still early in this one.
Jenkins and Beckel battling for second. Larson back in position in the 57, so curious.
I see how that worked out, but you know what? That's perfect.
That's right. Hey, that's why we're just commentators, not officials.
Yes. So still Claiborne, the 85 of Hunter Jenkins, as they're still trading paint midway through the pack.
Yep, Larson now third as Beckel shuffles to fourth in the 49 of the multifaceted, multi-talented Calvin Miller hanging out in there. Long race, as you can already see. The line getting long, and you saw Claiborne had to check up for the back of the line already coming through.
We got some issue now. Looks like the one of Lance O'Grain driving Brandon Lindbergh's car in the 46, and Mike Hathaway having an issue. And now your leader's having to slow down in the intersection.
Everybody.
As Beckel grabs the lead.
Wow, 4 positions changed hands. Beckel was the only one who kept his foot in it. He shoots all the way through. Larson now second, and third, I think that's Bryce Kolar, 6th, battling with Calvin Miller.
And Claiborne goes from first to about 8th from that intersection.
This
issue we had.
This intersection is going to be a mess. Coming up as you see the 151 of Cody Weldon checking up. Hathaway's 46 out now, leading the pack around as, look out, car in the intersection, no good. We're going to get a caution, as somehow everybody missed out on a big slam there coming through. Oh, a gentle one, though. I think it was 73 of Myers who got him. Take a second look.
I think you're right.
Yep. So there's Weldon to a stop, and all of a sudden, bang.
And that is one scary place to be right there.
Oh, for sure. So Cody Weldon might need a change of shorts out there on the racetrack. That's all right. All right, already a couple intersection hits. Chaos up in front. We got a new race leader. It's the 83 of Josh Beckel. And then who knows in and behind them? This could be wild.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've already seen it. We saw our leader go from first to 8th in a matter of just a few feet. So Josh Beckel will will maintain the lead as we go green.
Yep, so we're 6 laps into this. It's Beckel, your lead car. Michaela Larson's 57 on the inside, the 6, and the outside is Bryce Kolar. Kolar looks like he's got a nose, although Larson, good corner, trying to beat Kolar to the inside of the North Pole, can't do it.
As it looks like the 83 of Beckel still up front. Kolar, and now look at Miller, and the man on the move right now, started mid-pack and into third.
Calvin Miller putting some moves up and working his way through, and he is up on the back of Kolar's 6. It's Hathaway pointing the wrong direction. See if he can get spun back the right way. Peyton Hop, 16, trying to move forward is nope. Caution. Hathaway, unfortunately, no movement out of the 46.
We will. And now he has movement.
That, of course. Every time. Oh, hey, yellow came out. Cool, I can go now. Well, around, got some help. O'Grain's one car is involved in another snafu.
See what happens here.
Ashley Shoecar gives us the in-car look from Brandy Hood Promotions. Thank you so much for the in-car shots. And I think we can tell already how this is sequencing out. Until this field thins a little bit, we might be seeing a lot of our least favorite colored flag.
Yeah, this might happen a few more times, but like what you just said, when the field starts to even out, but we start to lose a few cars, the yellow flags start to dwindle.
Lose a few cars, or if they can start to get strung out to where they're single file a little more and your guys coming through the intersection can pick and shoot without breaking their stride, that could be a big portion to get this race up and going too.
So Miller, with a good move to get around the 6 of Kohler, will go into second now, as the 83 of Josh Beckel will have to do a lot of maneuvering to keep the 49 behind him.
Right, the younger Beckel, I believe Jackson Beckel, is starting to work his way through the field in the 18 car as well, so keep your eyes out. He is right now on the outside of the North Pole. Getting shuffled back by Peyton Hopp and Caleb Larson, but he has started to pick up the pace and come through as well.
And tonight they did do their regular qualifying sessions, but the qualifying session determined where they were going to do the pill draw. So wherever they started tonight was based off of a pill draw.
I had the wrong car there. Talon Kolar was actually the other one that was coming through, so it was the 19. So multiple Kolars, not multiple Beckels up in the top front.
Yeah.
Holy cow, it's a little much.
Well, we got a bunch of family members in these races. We got 3 shoe cars, 2 Kolars, and 2 Beckels.
Yep, we've got a Hop, which is going to marry, well, my brother is going to marry a shoe car at some point in time, and that's going to make a shoe car a Hop, so we'll have 2 Hops.
Yeah.
That'll be strange.
So as of right now, the field is starting to single file, and that is exactly what you want to see, because now we're going to have even more traffic in the intersection.
I said strange, I meant lovely. Around there's Robert Smith 42 working on one of the 78s. I don't know if that's Kyle. I think that's Kyle, right? Is it Kyle or Charlie that he was working on there? It was one
I think that was Kyle.
All right. So Larson, the run to the inside on Talon Kolar. Kolar pushes wide. There's Larson taking the spot back and trying to close in on that battle in the top 3. As finally putting some consecutive laps together here. Beckel, Miller right on his tail, and Larson, your current podium runners.
Beckel's car looks like it's seen better days, especially in the back of the car. Definitely a used Stinger 8 car.
Through we go. Beckel continues to hold the top spot as working to the inside. Car's banging into the corner. And there is Damon Claiborne trying to work his way around the outside and back forward. He was your race leader, albeit not that long ago,
Yeah.
At least it doesn't feel like. Hathaway going down a lap as challenge for the lead. Miller decided to swing out there in the turn and try to bury his way down to the inside. However, it is the other Kolar, Bryce, in car number 6, trying to use the outside groove as they go side by side through the intersection.
Oh my, we got a whole bunch of traffic now in the intersections. They're having to stop trying to stay out of the way of everyone else. And we got, looks like the 102 of Bobby shoe car sitting there, and he will now get going.
Look out, Bobby! Hey, as you guys keep track of the ticker, by the way, the ticker is having some problems picking up Bryce Kolar, so we'll have to watch him. Meanwhile, he's going to get strung out the 3rd groove, and that's going to allow, it looks like, Calvin Miller to take over your race lead in that exchange. It's now Miller, Beckel, and Kolar, 1, 2, 3.
And now we got, looks like the 49 of Miller trying to get around the 2 shoe cars as well, to put those 2 cars a lap down, as, like I said at the beginning of this race, no one's safe at this point.
Nobody anywhere.
As I just said that.
Yeah, Weldon and Hathaway spun out on the wrong side, so they're going to be pointing the wrong direction. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened to those 2 as we're going to get a caution out here on the raceways. You see our flagger throwing it. So watch the intersection. Oh, Cody just overcooked it and tagged Mike, and Mike got a whole lot of Robert Smith for his trouble.
4 cars involved in that one.
Weldon for the in-car field. Yep, shook her loose, got her around. Here's from Smith. So we'll take a look at this in-car view. We'll take a timeout, and we'll come back with your Stinger 8 division coming up next here on Home Track Heroes. Well, we're in the middle of a wild Buzz Inn Steakhouse Stinger 8 main event here for the Figure 8 Nationals on Home Track Heroes. He's Chad Fitzpatrick. I am Caleb Hart. We had just gone to caution before we'd gone to commercial break, and now the field gets to take a breath, relax, roll back onto the racetrack as you're going to get quad box to get us started again. Claiborne, Bristol, Shoe Car, and, of course, everybody in the upper right corners. We're back to green.
And Miller with a great run, as we call these Delaware style, I believe.
That's what I call him. Leader on point by himself. Everybody 2x2 in behind him. On the circle track stuff, the second place car usually gets his or her choice of line. Here on the figure 8 course, well, you know, the good in one corner is the bad in the other, as we've found out so many times.
And it's working perfectly for Calvin Miller, but as of right now, you do not want to gain too much of a lead, because then he'll just gain into the traffic in the X at this point.
Bryce Kolar, transponder working all of a sudden is in second, and Peyton Hopp is sitting around in the third position with Beckel in fourth, and it looks like the battle for fifth has gone to Claiborne, at least for the time being.
Yeah, starting to slowly work his way back up from that intersection mishap. So far, we've had one crash in the intersection, so we'll see how many more if we get any more at this point.
That persistent smoke on the Michaela Larson car continues. You can see it coming off the south pole as she goes side by side with Claiborne trying to hold the position. Your leader starting to pick his way into those slower cars again as you see him to the outside of Hunter Jenkins. Now watching through the rest of the field, that's Claiborne closing in on Beckel for fourth.
So at the beginning of this race, these cars looked a lot cleaner. Now they're starting to look a little more beat up as we go. But yeah, up front, it is just all Calvin Miller right now.
And we are 2/5 of the way into this as well. Miller with a big gap between himself and Kolar getting the love tap from Peyton Hopp at the entrance to the South Pole. Hopp letting him know that he's there, as they've got a clean intersection to work through as they battle for second.
Yeah, they're doing a great job putting on a show right now, as the fit 151 at Cody Weldon will spin in front of your leaders, but we stay green thus far.
Yeah, that contact was in a really bad space for both Hopp and Kolar at that point. They both had to do a little evasive driving, although they both made it by, and now we watch fourth, fifth, and sixth as those three cars getting after it. Look, though, at your leader, Calvin Miller, and hey, we are, I believe, 22 in, 28 to go, so Miller with the lead and approaching halfway.
Yeah, this is definitely a longer race for them. We're almost to the point where it's just a regular Saturday night show at this point. And yeah, there's still so much to go on.
Well, a Saturday night show that starts off right in the midst of one of the ugliest intersection action that you're going to find, because if Miller speeds up here, he's going to end up with cars 2x2 through the intersection about 5 deep.
And he's going to have to make some very important decisions at that point if he wants to go for it or not. And like what we saw before with the 43 at Claiborne, you don't want to get out too far because you'll just lose it.
Well, Claiborne, you know, the more I think about it, probably played it pretty smart there. You wreck your car on the 5th lap in, you don't have a chance to compete later.
Exactly.
So give up the spots now, live to fight another day, because it's a very long race.
I agree with you 100%. As the 6th car of Bryce Kolar will now grab the lead, as he had the 49 of Miller had to slow down to avoid action in the intersection.
So that's how quick it can happen here in this intersection. Look out, it is not a ton of fun. Peyton Hopp has to go way wide, but still they're battling with Miller for second. Miller trying to clear him off the corner and coming into a lighter intersection that time by, thankfully for him.
Yeah, so the 6th car of Kolar will still resume that lead, and a great battle for second as the 16 of Hopp and the 49 of Calvin Miller still going at it. Both equally matched cars at this point, putting on a very good show.
Yeah, it just seems like it might be decision-making and luck at this point in time, as they're very even, working their way into the North Pole. We're over halfway finally in this race. Bryce Kolar has got the lead in the 6th. This is the action from 4th on back, and ooh, the traffic's going to be a something. Not just the traffic in the intersection, but the traffic with the slower cars.
Yeah, and in this division, in all the figure 8 divisions, they do not throw the blue flag like what you'd see in a stock car division on the 3/8s or oval track racing. So they generally know that they are being lapped down, but they just don't let the drivers know.
Hey, that's good. Make them passive. You're faster than me. Get around me, darn it.
Yeah, you necessarily don't want to probably put out the blue flag in a figure 8 race because they might think it's bumped to pass at that point.
There you go. So there's Claiborne, another look at him. Look out, cars stopping before the intersection to try to make it through as they're around the outside. That is Bob Shukar that they're trying to put the lap on right now. Miller is going to try to barrel to his inside. He'll get there. Hopp finds a clean lane to follow. 1, 2, and 3 tightly packed in out in front of this field as they work a very treacherous racetrack.
And I'm starting to notice the 49 of Calvin Miller is starting to creep up on the 6 of Kolar now once again, so definitely the faster car of those two. But yeah, a little bit of that luck in the intersection could definitely make or break this race for him.
I know you don't have years and years and years of figure 8 experience. Look out, Kyle Shukar.
I think that's actually I see a small 4. That might be Gabriel in that car.
Yep, Guevara. You're right. So I was saying, as we're going to watch Robert Smith for a second, you don't have an abundance of figure 8 experience. As we got a new leader. There goes Miller sneaking through the intersection. Would you rather be Calvin Miller out in front and leading, or one of the two chasing him at this point?
Probably chasing, but as of right now, I'm glad I'm up here.
Oh, no. Peyton Hopp
Oh, my
got into
goodness.
the back and around.
Oh, my goodness.
Ow.
So that's hit number 2, I believe, now. So I'm keeping track.
And it wasn't super gentle either. There down through the bottom goes Kolar to sneak past Larson, who had to check up. And now into third. Is that the 73? Is that Myers on the lead lap?
I believe so. Or is the 57 on the lead lap?
I don't think so. I think the 57 just checked up. We'll catch up here. It is Claiborne apparently now third in the 43.
Oh, and we got the 151 of Weldon.
Oh.
Double tap right there. Getting hit in the intersection, then he hits the tire, and his bumper went farther than his car.
Cody has had a rough race. He's been around a couple of times and decided to take out his aggression on that poor angry Uke tire. However, we're still green. 16 to go, and Calvin Miller actually now...
Oh, that was close.
Enjoyed a little bit of a pad. I say that. Maybe that's not the pad that he's looking for at the moment.
So 15 and a half laps to go, and anything can happen as look at the traffic in the intersection, and I don't know how he gets hit.
Your leader takes one in the tail. Here's Kolar underneath him, and Kolar going to retake the lead coming out of the North Pole.
And the 151 getting the black flag as they're still battling for the lead up front.
Look at Miller rallying back to the inside. Hit me in the tail of the car. Don't care. We're still going to roll it, baby.
Made him faster.
Hashtag send it through the intersection. Kolar barely escapes the rear end shot coming through. It is Miller and Kolar 1 and 2. The 49 and 6 is the 6th transponder not picking up again. Third, somewhere back there, is the 18J of Jackson Beckel, who we've only touched on for a second. There you can kind of see him as they'll go through the intersection again.
Yeah, this field's definitely spreading out. And a hard hit for Lance O'Grain and that against that Uke tire, as he's looks like he's just sitting there and he'll get out for the racetrack. We keep going. Oh, and another hit.
That was Miller, your leader, almost clearing Hopp there, and that is Claiborne, who has gone spinning off onto the access road, or the newly paved back of that straightaway. So let's get a look at the replay. You see Miller was kind of trying to get through to avoid Hopp, and he ends up driving right into Damon.
Yeah, that was good job driving by everyone. That could have been a lot worse than what actually happened. They're just, when you got so much going on there, it just kind of let everything just happen at that point. And hopefully it's not too bad. And
Wow. 4:05 on a Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock has got nothing on us here at Home Track Heroes at the moment, as this has been insanity once again. And we still have a handful of laps left to go. Let's go back to the racetrack, form them up. This segment brought to you by Angel of the Winds Casino Resort. They now have sports betting. Think you can pick a winner? Prove it at Angel of the Winds Casino Resort, the only home for sports betting north of Seattle, exit 210 off I-5 in Arlington. Well, right now, you got to put your money on Miller because he's led a lot of this, but Jackson Beckel is now up into second. Third is Kolar in the 6th, as they're doing war in behind him for that top spot.
Yeah, and it looks like we got the 40. We haven't really talked about Andrew Reinders that much, but he's slowly starting to work his way through the field. As the 18, same thing with the 18J of Beckel as well. He started way back in the field, and he's in second.
Frankly, the less we've talked about you at this point in time is probably good. That means you've stayed out of the chaos, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a great thing at this point if we're not talking about you.
That's right. If we haven't said that you were hit, getting hit, or narrowly avoiding one, that means your stress level is probably relatively low at this point.
And Jackson Beckel's car is probably the only car that has the least amount of damage out of everyone. You know, these cars obviously are all were street cars at one point. These cars really can't take a hit that much.
No, it's not like they go through and make massive reinforcements. Yes, they do put a full roll cage in the cars, but it's not like they are armoring them up like one of the bumped pass cars.
Yeah, so I mean, you can't reinforce you can put a front bumper on them, obviously, but you can't, reinforce the front frames. So yeah, I'm gonna guess a lot of these cars over this up and coming week will be going on frame racks.
Yeah, no kidding. So with 10 laps to go, you mentioned the Beckel car looking relatively clean still. However, there's still 10 laps left to go. We got 20% of this race.
Yeah, and I hope I didn't say anything that'll get me in trouble now.
Did you just lay the whammy on him?
Oh, I hope not.
Well, he's made it like 2 or 3 laps since you laid the whammy on him.
So whatever you do, Jackson, just do not hit anybody at this point.
Make Chad look good.
Yeah.
his confidence is high. He's coming off becoming the 125 lap champion of the world. You know, we need to keep the confidence up as far as the commentating goes.
And that car was, and now we got a new leader as the 18J of Jackson Beckle will pounce on what looks like he had to get around the 49 the 78 of Charlie Davis.
Yeah, so he took his time, and unfortunately for Miller, it cost him right there. That allows Beckle to get around. Miller now goes into pursuit mode. Although, again, we have seen Miller pursues very, very well. He's going to make Beckle be the guy who makes the decision coming through the intersection.
At this point, it's go time. We're running out of laps. As you see our flagger pointing to the intersection as we got, looks like another car stopped. It's the 4 car of Gabriel Guevara. And probably a former shoe car is what it looks like.
The shoe cars have a fleet of 4-cylinder, whatever the heck they want to do with it, machines.
A lot of Acuras.
Oh, and there's Beckle making it bad. Gets into contact with one of the others, and Miller gets the lead right back. It might have been shoe cars 111 that he made contact with. Oh, Jackson Beckle, that's going to cost him. Now Kowar into second again, and Beckle, well, he kept her going well enough that he's sitting in third.
Yeah, kept it clean, and obviously that was perfect for what the 49 of Miller wanted to see. But look at Robert Smith now coming into second.
I may be right, I might be wrong. Another one? My goodness.
Hop versus shoe car. That's 2 intersection hits.
Man.
By future family members
now.
now.
Boy. Yeah, that's not going to go well at the Thanksgiving dinner table. So it's Miller being chased, and I'm guessing that's Smith second. I haven't seen Smith
That is Smith. Robert Smith is second.
Yeah, I haven't seen Smith get lapped. I haven't seen too many shenanigans. So they're coming through the intersection. Can Miller hang on with Smith right there? And Kyle Shukar third?
Oh, my.
Whoa, boy.
Well done. Oh, my goodness.
Heads up. Josh Beckle in the 83 as they're 3 wide. My goodness. What is going on?
And I believe Josh Beckle is a lap down now, so I think he's not going to be a contender at this point. Now we're trying to put another lap under Charlie Davis now at this point.
We just had another car go skeetering out up around the top of the racetrack. Looks like they got it back up and going. Calvin Miller is just hoping for 2 more times around clean. Please, that is all he is asking for. 2 to go from Miller. That intersection decent that time as he sneaks underneath.
Yeah, he definitely wants to see a clean intersection the next 3-4 times he goes through, and it's not going to look clean for him now. Let's hopefully he sees Larson, and he did.
Wow, okay, makes it through. There's Smith.
Oh.
And Smith is getting full yeet on Smith out into the access road.
Then.
Well, he won't be second anymore.
Nope, no. We'll watch and see what they have to say about that, as that just gained a huge lead, though, for Miller at this point.
Calvin Miller, get through clean, man. You got this. To the north, white flag was flying, and here it comes. Checkered flag. Calvin Miller wins the Figure 8 Nationals for the Stingers. Second, Beckle.
That is, and Shukar third.
Take a look. What a race that was to the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium.
Kyle, I want to ask what it's like here at Figure 8 Nationals, racing in that Stinger 8 class with so many different members of your family.
I don't even know what to say. I just drive around them and hope for the best.
You were careful with that car, brought it home in third tonight. Who would you like to thank?
My Uncle Bob, my dad, B&R Drywall, and there's a couple other people, but it's just hard to remember all of them.
Driver the number 78, third place tonight, that's Kyle Shukar. Jackson, you put together a great run coming from the back after that less than lucky draw. Managed to come away with second. How's it feel getting that result here in front of all these fans?
I mean, I love second place, but that was my race to win. Ashley screwed that for me. But, I would rather start in the middle of the pack than the front of the rear. And all it was patience, and that's what got me here.
Who would you like to thank for the performance of that 18J?
Not Kyle Shukar, John Bender, Dave, PRCBD, Auto Works, my dad, I said Dave Riddell, and yeah.
Driver of the number 18J, Jackson Beckle, comes away with a second place finish. Calvin, the question on everybody's mind, how do you build a tank to charge through, survive 2 massive hits in the intersection, and come away with the victory?
Oh, I really couldn't tell you. I got really lucky under that last yellow after I hit Damon. I feel bad. I apologize. Sorry, Damon. I asked the guy in second place if the radiator was still good, and he goes, "Yeah." So I go, "We're gonna keep racing and see what happens."
You pulled off an amazing run tonight. I won't keep you any longer. Who would you like to thank for your performance?
My mom and dad, everybody that helped to get the car out here. Cox Wheels Racing, Northwest Poly Services, Precision Forestry, Brandy Hood Promotions, my grandma and grandpa.
Driver the number 49, Calvin Miller, won your Stinger 8 Nationals.
Well, it's going to be hard to top that Stinger 8 main event that we just saw, but let's give it a shot. The Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8 main event up next here for the Figure 8 Nationals here on Home Track Heroes on CW11. I'm Caleb Hart. He's Chad Fitzpatrick, and your lineup looks like this for the Superstock Figure 8s.
So our Stinger 8 winner on the front row, the 49 of Calvin Miller, sponsored by Precision Forestry Inc. out of Arlington, and the 43 of Sheridan Vincent, sponsored by Siskin Power Equipment.
It is Dueling Mackeys in row number 2. By the way, this lineup set by Pill Draw. 23 Jim Mackey, sponsored by Tony V's Garage Saloon and Eatery. RJ Mackey 69 next to him, sponsored by Monroe Co-op.
The 63 car Robert Big Bird Weldon, sponsored by All Ply Roofing LLC, and the 76S of Chris Southard.
Row number 4, the B Happy Carpet Cleaning number 11 of Blaine Manning, and the 67 of Mackenzie Dietz, sponsored by BECU.
The 68 car is Chris Curtis, sponsored by Diggett Excavating, and the 72 of Jeff Talbert, sponsored by Pilchuck Heating.
Then behind them, how about this? John Zaretsky going Figure 8 racing, the Miracles and Memories Academy number 51, and the JE55, that spells Jess Wilkinson next to him.
And the 5 car Quint Borison, sponsored by Mary's Towing, and the 01 the Grizz Doug Telfeld, sponsored by Mazda of Everett, and we are green.
Nice to see Quentin back in the race car here this weekend. It's been a hot minute for him. The jump goes to Vincent in car number 43. He's got the early lead.
Yeah, and it looks like the 49 of Calvin Miller trying to get around, and it looks like we have an issue going into the north turn. As we'll watch and see what happens here. It looks like the 76 of Southard sitting way out wide.
Yes, he is. Caution flag will fly. Let's get a look from Mackenzie Dietz's 67 as she gets a good view of it. And from Southard's point of view, loops around, and nice miss by Doug Delfell. Grizz could have had it bad really early, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was definitely good heads-up driving by the Grizz, because that definitely could have ended bad for all of them.
Guy with a lot of laps around here. Good reaction time still for him. This segment brought to you by Bardall. Bardall Manufacturing, located in Seattle, world leader in automotive lubricants, oils, additives, and lubricants for your car, truck, boat, or motorized toy. Pick the brand racers around the world rely on. Bardall, celebrating over 82 years in business and operating in 90 countries. Make Bardall your brand.
So up front, still the 43 of Sheridan Vincent, picking where he left off originally. 49 of Calvin Miller, hopefully to gain one more spot and keep it that way for maybe make it 2 in a row for him. Well, we got a lot of time left, so we'll see what happens here.
That would be quite the accomplishment, getting Figure 8 Nationals wins in 2 different divisions in the same year.
That'd definitely be history,
yeah.
I believe. This race used to be just one race.
Okay.
And then I believe for about probably almost 30 years.
All right.
And then the last 10 is when we split them up into 3 different races.
With your original winner, 1984, being Vern Dietz.
Vern Dietz,
that
yes.
Crazy Cajun himself, and that's his granddaughter, sitting in position number 3 right now, chasing around Calvin Miller that we just saw in the shot. We'll go backwards a little ways. Blaine Manning's 11, and John Zaretsky's 51. We're duking it out. But there is the race we were talking about. Calvin Miller, the 49. Mackenzie Dietz in the 67 as she works to the inside, trying to find her way around Calvin for the spot.
Yeah, trying every way possible, as Vincent doing probably one of the best races I've seen in his Superstock Figure 8 career, still leading, as it looks like we might have a little bit of traffic in the intersection, as probably the next couple laps is when it's going to heat up, and Miller almost got in the back end of Vincent.
We had 14 cars start this race, so you don't expect the intersection to be as crazy, as active as it was in our Stinger 8 race. However, it's still going to get busy as Dietz around Miller, and Mackenzie now working on the back of Sheridan, trying to take over that top spot just 5 laps in.
Yeah, having a great run so far. It looks really good through the corners, as looks like we got a good battle between Talbert and the 63 Weldon and the Grizz Doug Delfell, mired back in the field.
Yeah, getting scary back there. The 2 yellow cars looking like targets for some of those drivers speeding through the intersection. As we go again through, it is Dietz on the chase. Calvin Miller, fresh off of a hairy and scary intersection in the Stinger 8s, almost got clipped that time through in his Superstock.
And it looks like we got the 11 of Blaine Manning spinning in the south turn, as John Zaretsky moving up a lot of positions. That's in a borrowed car. I believe that's Tommy Gap's figure 8 car that he's driving.
And one of John's favorite sayings, you can't hurt borrowed equipment.
Yes.
So we'll see what John can do as he works through. They're going to split Manning. That gives Dietz a chance to shoot the outside, but she doesn't go all the way around. She'll tuck back in and follow Sheridan here as we complete another lap. Things are clipping off relatively quickly, as out front it is Vincent, Dietz, and Miller still on the screen sitting third.
This so far has been quite a clean race, and I hope I just didn't jinx them right now. But you know, we're almost 10 laps into this, and I believe in the last race we already had 3 cautions at that point.
It has been cleaner for sure.
Yes, cleaner, I should say.
With the 1 caution early coming for Southard, and we'll keep that up. That'll work just fine for us. As again, battle for the lead in front of this field. Vincent, Dietz, 1 and 2. The 11 of Manning is a lapped car already. Calvin Miller's blue 49 trying to get past him so he can get involved in this battle up front.
Yeah, Calvin Miller driving probably one of the oldest figure 8 cars in the field, older than me, and it's I believe it's a former Steve Cox championship car.
And still fast though.
Very fast, very fast. I believe that was a former Keith Bloomhagen figure 8 car back from the late 80s, so that's
wow,
quite a old figure 8 car.
That's some history on that one. Miller finally sneaks to the inside of Manning as he's going to work through the south turn and now clear him so he can get involved in that battle up in the top 3, which continues to be almost nose to tail. Dietz right around. You haven't seen her really even give him a little love tap yet to let him know that he's there, so very clean racing amongst your top 2.
Yeah, she's been definitely driving Sheridan Vincent very, very clean at this point. We're very early on in this race, so really don't need to make very evasive movers at this point. Just make sure that you keep Vincent very close to you.
Just a accomplishment alone that she's out there for that is they had some pretty extreme mechanical difficulties pre-race and during the heat race, from what I understand too.
Gotcha. So that, yeah, since they've overcome that so far, that's definitely a good accomplishment. As Weldon will get loose, and now we got a new leader, Mackenzie Dietz.
Yep, Vincent had to take evasive action. That's going to cost him a couple of spots. Dietz kept her foot in the pedal, and Mackenzie moves on through and into the lead. Miller's going to take over second as they get around both Delfell and Weldon in the chance to go through. So now Miller's got to clear those 2 also, and he's trying to bring Vincent with him.
Yeah, trying to get around the 2 yellow cars at this point. It's very rare we talk about Grizz getting lapped, but you know, during these longer races, when you start to get spread out, it's just hard to make up that ground.
Grizz, a veteran, might be one of those guys that actually benefits from a caution once in a while. Chance to regroup and catch his breath a little bit, because he is on the veteran side of being a veteran.
Yes. And out of the 49 years, he only has 1 figure 8 nationals win.
Wow.
And it was the inaugural Superstock figure 8 nationals back in 2015. Still doesn't have a 60 minutes of fear, though, so maybe he might get one.
Old age and treachery can do quite a bit. As you see Mackenzie shoot the gap there in the line, it is Dietz, Miller, Vincent still holding on to third, but he has been unable to clear that slower traffic. And I think Zaretsky might have just got around him.
Yeah, so I believe Zaretsky now moving into the 3rd position, as we'll watch and see. Yep. And he is definitely coming in quick to the 49 of Calvin Miller.
So we'll watch Zaretsky as we are 18, make it 19 laps in, and Miller veering off raceway. Calvin Miller exit stage right. John Zaretsky now second, and a long ways to go for him to catch up to Mackenzie Dietz, but he is going to try to chase down your leader. You can see full set of corners behind Mackenzie.
Yeah, has a lot of time, has 31 laps to get to it. At this point, Mackenzie Dietz definitely doesn't want to caution, but Zaretsky definitely does.
Zaretsky is still trying to get around Weldon, as the yellow cars have been formidable as far as being tough to pass go, and it's not like Weldon's doing anything too weird. He's just running a pretty solid line out there.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think he's blocking. It's just he's that fast right now, and it's when you're equally matched cars, it's very hard to pass.
Like I said, I love it. Leader's got to pass you. Everybody else has to do it without the assistance of the blue flag. Zaretsky's going to get around. Oh, Weldon gets a little squirrely, but brings it back into line. Now, Vincent needs to jump here. He has got to get past Weldon in this exchange right now, or else Zaretsky might clear him. Vincent does. He's going to hang on to third.
Yeah, Vincent did a great job. He had absolutely no time to waste on Weldon, because if he was, Zaretsky was just going to fly right by.
Now, looking at the field, there's Talbert in the 72 that Mackenzie's coming around on. Talbert's in the 7th place already, so just short of halfway through this race, and Mackenzie's about to have half the field lapped.
Yeah, putting down some really good laps. Clean air for her. She is equally probably one of the fastest cars on the track right now. She's all by herself. That is exactly what she wants to see.
Zaretsky has multiple pieces of slower traffic that he's got to get past in order to just get to Mackenzie, much less make the pass. There goes John working to the inside on, was that the 52? There's no 52
I believe
out
that was
there.
the 69 RJ Mackey.
Aha, so Mackey 69 is where he's trying to get. Meanwhile, a little further back in the field, guy we have not talked about other than in our early race preview, that is Quentin Borison in the 5 car, and I think that's the race for 4th and 5th right now.
Yeah, great run. In the 68, that is Chris Curtis driving, I believe that's Jim Mackey. No, I'm sorry, Howard Mackey's car. So he's driving for the Mackeys. There's, I believe, 3 of the Mackey cars in this field is the 5 car and the 23 of Jim Mackey make contact for that 3rd position or 4th position, I'm sorry.
Borison had to lean on Mackey to get up into 4th, but he did it. He will move through. Meanwhile, another look at your leader. We're over halfway. 26 down, 24 left. She's to the outside of Jess Wilkinson and trying to pick up another spot. Meanwhile, Zaretsky and Delfell. Heard that one before somewhere.
It's been a long time, though.
But it's been a bit. Zaretsky has got the preferred line going into the South Pole. He will make the pass.
So Dietz way out in front, going to get around the 72 of Talbert. We got the 76 of Southard going around.
And that's bad news for Mackenzie Dietz. She wants to see Southard fire the car back up and get going as, yellow flag in the air. And that's going to set us up for some serious fun here in the final 22 laps of this race as we will take a look. Let's see what happened to Chris Southard. Into the corner he goes, back in, steps out and around, and he will be pointing the wrong way from Borison's angle into the turn, and nothing to be done. So we'll take a break. We're going to come back with the thrilling conclusion of the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8 main event next on Home Track Heroes. Welcome back here to Home Track Heroes on CW11. I am Caleb Hart. He is Chad Fitzpatrick. And we're going back to the track because we've got 20-plus laps left of the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8 main event here for the Figure 8 Nationals. And just like that, Mackenzie Dietz, who was just absolutely cruising, now has to restart with John Zaretsky, the 2nd-place car, right on her tail as they start into the right-hand turns.
Yeah, as we're back to green, as Dietz and Zaretsky. I haven't heard those two names fighting in a figure 8 race in a long time, and I'm talking about these two drivers either. I'm talking about their
Vernon and Carl.
Yep.
Yep. They'll work their way through the turn. That is Vincent in the 43 car. Sheridan Vincent is 3rd. And Quentin Borison, the blue with red, number 5, is your 4th place car, trying to make use of this slower traffic to come through and take a final podium spot. Zaretsky thought about shooting the bottom, going into the left-hand turns, pulled up a little bit short, as we are down to 21 laps to go. This is going to be a fascinating battle in front.
So I'm watching the 67 of Dietz, and she'll go up higher and get a really good run coming off the corner, and Zaretsky does quite the opposite, and it's kind of counterbalancing both of their track positions there.
It's going to give each of them an opportunity to pass or be passed, depending on how it goes. Meanwhile, 68 of Chris Curtis has worked his way up into 4th. Curtis side by side with Borison, and Borison made a really good corner there, coming up on the back of Vincent, who desperately needs to get around Doug Delfell's 0-1 in order to keep going forward. Curtis now makes the run back around as Borison went backwards.
Yeah, something happened. We got Zaretsky looking to the inside and makes contact with Dietz as she still maintains the lead, but this battle's definitely heating up front.
Oh, Zaretsky looking for room to get by. Intersection a little hairy in behind him. We'll keep our eyes on it. Mackenzie in the 67, John in the 51, and Zaretsky, the back end, is hanging out just enough to be treacherous there coming through that pass.
And we stay green thus far. We have Jim Mackey sitting 23. Yep, is Jim Mackey sitting there in turn number 2. As it looks like we might go yellow for him now.
They finally pulled the flag for him. So Mackey, unfortunately, tucked inside that Uke tire. That'll spread the field out, or I say spread the field, gather the field and keep the intersection a little bit cleaner. As you can see, Mackey straight into it, said hello to the Uke tire, and around he goes.
Yeah, that was not really a hard hit, but that definitely did a lot of suspension damage because he hit it right on the edge of the tire.
All right, so we're down to 18 laps to go, and we got our first taste of Dietz versus Zaretsky. What are you thinking as that we're going to watch this play out even further?
Oh, yeah, Dietz is definitely going to make it really hard for Zaretsky to get by, so I can't wait to see what the outcome of this battle will be.
Well, Mackenzie, sponsored by BECU. The night is the BECU Figure 8 Nationals, presented by the CW11, which you're watching right now. And this segment brought to you by BECU. Boeing Employee Credit Union believes in people over profit. BECU, altogether different. BECU, a proud sponsor of the mini stock division at Evergreen Speedway.
As we got Quentin Borison going around, I believe we stay green as he keeps it going, but a good restart for the 67 at Dietz. Has about a 2-car length lead over the 51 of John Zaretsky.
What a cool viewpoint from just behind the front bumper of the Zaretsky car as he drives hard into the left-hand turns. 72 of Jeff Talbert that you're watching. Talbert trying to get around Doug Delfell in the 01. We know Talbert is still a lead lap car onto his own. So.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to tell. With these longer races, we definitely tend to have a little bit more lap traffic. And they tend to kind of intermix with each other, so it's kind of hard to tell where everyone is at this point.
Example, we know Curtis's 68 is a lead lap car along with Borison. Well, now they're both in danger of potentially falling a lap down as here comes your lead 2 into them.
Yeah, they're going to definitely get out of the way. Chris Curtis sees the Dietz and Zaretsky group coming through, and he moves out of the way. We'll watch and see what happens if Quentin Borison is going to help out Zaretsky or Dietz, but they're definitely coming in quick to the 5-car Borison.
Not a position that Quentin's used to be in, and he's used to competing for the wins in this class, much less going down a lap. Now, again, he's been out of the seat for some time, although he is going to move up and out, so very sportsmanlike thing for you to do.
Very good lap car etiquette right there.
Very much so. Let your 2 leaders race for the W, and again, one of the biggest W's of the year. In fact, you could argue that this is the biggest one of the year for the Superstock Figure 8s, as they're kind of intermixed with the Outlaws come 60 Minutes Fear later on in the season.
Yeah, so this, in my opinion, is probably their biggest race because, like I said, it's their own race.
Yeah, they're by themselves. They're competing amongst each other as Dietz continues. Ooh, it's decision time. Yep, Southard checked up, but intersection starting to get fun. Decision-making time for your front 2. Coming in through slower traffic, Mackenzie skins the cat getting through.
Yeah, this time by will only be 10 laps to go, so anything could still happen as a good battle between, obviously, Grizz is a lap down, and we got the 51 of Zaretsky getting hit in the intersection, and he'll keep going.
That stinks for John. He's going to lose second, I believe, as Vincent got by him and Talbert gets by him. So second and third make their way past Zaretsky in his run, which had been so good up until that point. Unfortunately, falters a little bit.
And that is exactly what Mackenzie Dietz wanted to see. Her lead is now huge at this point, almost a full straightaway, as no one at this point has anything for her.
Well, she's going to have to continue to navigate the intersection right, as Vincent, you're right, is a full set of corners in and behind Mackenzie. And Sheridan's getting all kinds of work put on her by Jeff Talbert, who's having a really nice run this afternoon.
Yeah, that's definitely a very good run. I believe he has a couple podiums so far this year, so if he can get in the Nationals, that's even a bigger accomplishment.
We talked a lot about the Dietz family and their history here, but Talbert is running a figure 8 car in honor of family as well. His dad, who ran around here forever, same number, etc.
Yeah, and I believe his grandpa, Mick Tomlin, helped create the Figure 8 Nationals. So that's quite an accomplishment to be racing in that, of something that your grandpa created.
Yeah, that means a lot to all of these drivers who are involved with family. As you can see, Borison once again kind of getting out of the way for the drivers racing for positions coming through. I think that's Weldon who's crossing that intersection kind of in a scary place for them.
And he doesn't stop either.
No.
We've seen that in previous episodes.
At least you know, okay, that's Weldon. He's going to gas it, so you can kind of time it up because of that.
Yeah. A lot of these groups, a lot of these drivers get to know each other very well, and they get to know who stops and who doesn't.
So Dietz, 5 to go. She does have a win in the 60 Minutes of Fear back when it was 2 classes within one race when we named a Superstock Figure 8 winner out of the group. But again, this is kind of their big one. This would be the biggest win of her career, arguably, at this point in time, if she can hang on for 4 more laps.
Yep, just 4 more. Come on, Mackenzie. As great run still by the 43 of Vincent. Probably one of his best runs he's ever had in the Superstock Figure 8s.
Yeah, looking really good as there's Weldon. Dietz will clear him coming off the corner. So one more piece of slower traffic dispatched. Intersection just busy enough that she's going to have to be a little bit careful. You can almost see some right front tire hop coming out of Vincent. So he's handling and driving a race car that's a little wounded.
I think he's trying everything he can to get up to the 67 at this point, as 2 more laps to go, it looks like. And the Figure 8 Nationals definitely has in the years past treated the Dietz as well, as Vern, the 1984 inaugural Figure 8 National winner, and the 1990 winner, and Ricky Dietz, her uncle, the 2002, 2013, and last year's Outlaw Figure 8 winner.
So this would be number 6 in one more lap for the Dietz family, and number 1 for Mackenzie. Would also be the first female to win it if she can pull it off. One more through the intersection. It looks easy. And off of the final turn, congratulations. Mackenzie Dietz gets the W. All that adversity earlier in the day, her and her team overcome it. She gets the win. Vincent second, Talbert third. What a great run for those two as well. And let's talk to him down on the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium.
Jeff, I keep seeing you up here week after week. Consistency has been the name of that number 72 camp. And it was the same case tonight. You look sharp out there. What was it like racing with that caliber of talent here on a big stage like this?
I mean, every time it's amazing. There's nothing I can say about that. I grew up in those stands watching people do this. My grandpa created this race, and for me to be able to podium in this is a dream come true to me.
Accomplishing that dream took some help. Who helped you behind the scenes?
Sorry.
Who helped you behind the scenes?
Got to thank my wife, my kids, my family, my mom, everyone that threw a hand in there, Jim and Jessica, the Wilkinsons, Harrison, all the Figure 8 guys for just running and doing what we do, and Pilchuck Heating, Stephanie's Hope, and I got to end it on, Grandma, we did it!
Driver of the number 72, third place tonight, Jeff Talbert. Not really any less impressive of a run. You took that car, held it up front, raced John Zareski, raced Clinton Borison, raced Chris Curtis, and you held on to take home second tonight. That car looked good. How was the car feeling?
A lot better. Actually, Rick Jones has been a big help. Mike Stelz, they've been a big help. Actually, Rick's tires are on the back of it, so I couldn't do a burnout, sorry. He's going to go run with the Outlaws since he's been helping me. I told him to go try it and see how it goes.
Taking home second place tonight, who would you like to thank for making that possible?
Well, my wife for letting us do this crazy stuff. We got 5 different race cars that we bring out various weekends. So my coworker Tyler for spotting for me and being my cheerleader, keeping me calm, telling me to breathe. Rick Jones, again, he's been a massive help. Savannah, I think I already said my wife, but my Aunt Heidi, just everybody that helps us out.
Driver the number 43, second place tonight, Sheridan Vincent. "39 years ago, Vern Dietz won this race, and now here you are in 2023 in front of everyone on the night, sponsored by your primary sponsor, taking home the win. The question is simple: how does it feel?
Oh, it feels pretty damn good, guys. Thank you, BECU, for just all the support and everybody being here tonight. This was not an easy feat. We broke during the heat race, and the crew did an amazing job to get it fixed for the main, and I was just determined to come out on top. And like you said, my grandpa won the very first nationals, and I wanted to be the first female.
You held off John Zaretsky. You held off the 5-time champion Quentin Borison, took home the win. That's no easy feat, like you said. Who helped make that possible?
I have to thank Jake Rippin, my boyfriend. I was out of town for work this week, and we broke the motor last week, and he was the one that got this motor back together and ready to go tonight. So I would also like to thank my grandpa for all the support, my mom and my dad, my family, and my crew. So thank you, guys.
Driver of the number 67, Mackenzie Dietz, wins Figure 8 Nationals.
Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on CW11. Thanks for letting us entertain you here on a Sunday night. Chad Fitzpatrick, Caleb Hart, the final figure eight main of the night is coming down now, and it is the Frank's Radio Outlaw figure eights for 50 times around. Your starting lineup looks like this. Zach Larson is going to start on the front row. He is in the black with orange 83 next to him. 007 Jim Powers, sponsored by Pilchuck Heating.
The 0 is Jillian Lopato, sponsored by Precision Traction Management, and the 767 of JB Corbett, sponsored by A1 Auto Service, Ryan Berg.
The third row, Kyle Shukar in the 11 is in the Be Happy Carpet Cleaning car. Nick Holton, 71H, sponsored by Snoqualmie Casino.
Car number 51 of Ryan Clark, sponsored by Bulldog Haven Northwest, and the 25 of Dakota Wilkinson, sponsored by Tony V's Garage.
Fifth row, the Cowboy, John Carlson, Fireplace Guy, Hearth and Home LLC in the 50. Rick Jones, the 43, sponsored by Siskin Power Equipment.
The 51Z of John Zaretsky and the 49 of Slick Don Eslick, sponsored by Central Welding.
And the back row, how about this? Chris Curtis and the Boney Brothers Racing 74. Ricky the Kid Dietz, 676 Tire Pros of Arlington, going to start dead last, green flag.
We are underway as we got the 83 of Zach Larson gaining the lead early as he started on the front row. 007 of Jimmy Powers doing a great job holding on to second.
And again, this was done by Pildron, just like the other divisions. Now, 50 times around, and Larson, a guy who has consistently had to come from the back to the pack, putting him on the pole is dangerous for everybody else.
Yeah, and you, like I said, the last two races, you don't want to get ahead. There's a good chunk of cars here, but this division here seems to be pretty equally matched. So they're kind of in a chunk, so we'll watch and see if Zach Larson gets so far ahead that he might have to go through these guys in the intersection.
They are physical for second between the 007 of Powers and the 767 of Corbett. Corbett in the third spot and already up and into fourth. That's Lopato in the 0. And the 51 hanging out back there of Clark in the fifth spot.
As we got, and yeah, it looks like the 007 doing a great job still. Lopato, I like those lights. It's really easy to see her on the racetrack.
Yeah.
So no excuse that you can't see her.
Easily identified as Jillian as she's going to hang out and trail Jamie around. Interesting scenario going on for these drivers right there as we are in the twilight of sunset as this track is on right now. You can see it getting a little bit darker out there, and that means any of the drivers who came out with their tinted visors on are going to have a little bit of a harder time.
Yeah, and a couple of the harder cars to see is I believe that's the 71 of Holton. Kind of hard to see that car in the intersection, so hopefully that doesn't hinder him. It looks like the 007 of Powers will go around.
It was very easy to see him spinning out, coming off
Yes.
the corner, and I'm pretty sure he didn't do that all by himself.
No, I think he had a little bit of help, but we stayed green. We got the little super stock figure eight cars in the back. They do look definitely a lot shorter and a lot smaller than those outlaw figure eight cars.
For sure, they don't have the big old sideboards or the wings or the panels, whatever you want to call them, for the extra side bite coming off the turns. So you can see Larson, and this is absolutely what Larson would have wanted if he was game planning this race. Get out and have nobody close to you.
Yeah, he is definitely clean and clear at this point, as we're going to have a little bit, probably the next lap or two, some traffic in the intersection with our super stock figure eight guys, as the 767 of Jamie Corbett doing a great job as Vincent and the 11 of Shukar having to stop at the intersection. They'll keep going.
I'll add into that here for that battle plan. If you're Larson, Corbett second and Lopato third, two fast cars out by themselves who are also tough to pass. That's really good news for Zach.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that definitely is. As we got his lap traffic in front of him is getting really loose. That is not what he wants to see, though.
Definitely not. He's going to have to get through. Kyle Shukar facing the wrong direction in the 11. That was the car you just saw Blaine Manning run in the Superstock figure eight main event. And Kyle going to put her in reverse for a second.
Yeah, you definitely want to get out of the way. You do not want to be hit by one of those cars. As Zaretsky is going to go a lap down. Definitely a big speed difference as the 43 of Vincent will get into our leader.
Oh, careful, Sheridan. That's a quick way to not make a friend.
Yes, no, you don't want to do that. As like I was saying, you definitely notice the speed difference between the super stock figure eights versus the outlaw figure eights.
Just the extra speed that they are able to come through the corner with because of that additional side bite makes a huge difference on this course.
Yeah, I've been told that by many drivers. Back when this class was starting to form, that were still called the super figure eights, and they were starting to add those wings. So you'd see a lot of the late model cars like Sheridan Vincent, and then the wing cars like Lopato. And when they all started putting those wings on, they definitely made a difference.
Well, we have got a battle. Lopato picks the right lane to get past Vincent as Clark's 51 put the big challenge on. John Carlson has weaved his way up into position number 5 and in the racing line. This traffic sure makes it a lot more treacherous out there as Larson now with Shukar trying to put him a lap down. Shukar a little sideways in through the corner. Look out, Zach Larson. This is getting hairier than you want it to be. But he will make his way into the left-hand turn and clear.
Yeah, he definitely gets by. Now he has another lap car to get by. Is a very slick veteran out here is the 49 of Slick Don Eslick.
Meanwhile, amongst the slower traffic, and boy, you're right, that the Superstock cars are out there and they're running, they're doing their best, but it is sure making the race interesting for the Outlaws as them having to pick the lane and one they're wanting to go through is leading to a lot of passing.
As looks like he's got even more lap traffic, 83 is Zach Larson, that is. They're right side by side in front of him, Jimmy Powers and Don Eslick, and now the 11 car of Shukar will spin out and he'll almost collect the 76-7 of Ricky Dietz, or Jamie Corbett.
Yeah, that was a nice save by Corbett getting in and through the turn as he kept her rubber side down, driving forward. Lopato managed to sneak in and hold on to that 2 spot. Here comes Clark, going to try to use the outside into the right-hand corners in the South Pole. It does not go, and here's Ricky Dietz from dead last. Dietz making his way up, and just on the outside trying to work his way into 4th.
Doing a great job. We didn't talk about him at all, and all of a sudden he's a contender for the podium spot as just all sorts of lap traffic once again for Larson. As a great battle, just a group of 6 or 7 for this spot.
Yeah, Chris Curtis is following Dietz through as he gets, or trying to get their way around Cowboy Carlson. Meanwhile, Shenanigans back further in the field. Larson continues to keep her through.
And the 51 of Ryan Clark did get hit in the intersection by the 43 of Vincent. It just barely hit him. You could see a little bit of quarter panel damage on him. As the 49 of Eslick still holding back the 83 of Larson.
And Larson's going to have to figure this out sooner rather than later because Corbett is closing the gap on him. Not by a ton, but the field definitely has tightened up a little bit. Larson wants to get free and clear as, there is Curtis now putting a little front bumper action to Dietz in for 4th.
Yeah, definitely pretty cool to watch this, but any little mistake and that can just ruin that whole field for everyone. So everyone's kind of, since we're only about 30 or 20 laps into this, a long ways left, everyone's still kind of on their tiptoes, see what's going to happen.
Your leader, Zach Larson, trying to figure out what to do with Don Eslick. Meanwhile, 3rd, 4th, 5th all in a row right there. Lopato in the 0 with the neon lights up on top of it. Trailing around 2nd place, Jamie Corbett, the black and red 767. And they're all trying to run down this black and orange 83 of Zach Larson. Larson has a chance now, depending on what Eslick does, up front here with Vincent. And Eslick got to the side of Vincent. He'll get to the north of him. And around he goes. Although, man, Sheridan Vincent is running some kind of physical out here. Now, Larson's going to get by, but I got to imagine that some of the veteran drivers in this Outlaw division post-race might go, hey, dude, you're down a few laps already. And easy.
Yeah. Now we got the 51 of Soretsky spinning out in the intersection. He'll keep it going. But 83 just getting stuck behind all these lap cars. And it really hasn't hindered him that much because the field just cannot keep up with him.
We're closing in on halfway home. So halfway, Larson, Corbett, and Lopato. And, I should let me take that back a second. We said Sheridan Vincent. It's not Vincent. It's Vincent's car. Rick Jones is the guy in the car. So
yes.
My bad on that one.
My bad, too. So, I didn't notice that.
Massive apology, Sheridan. That is my fault on that one. It's Rick Jones who's out in the 43 and racing as physically as he is.
Yeah, that was definitely, and actually just speaking of Rick Jones, he spins out.
So around he goes in the North Pole. And again, my apologies on that one. Easy to see that car who we had just talked about and ran a podium in the previous race and, oops.
And I probably even looked at the name too and still said Sheridan.
It happens. But now they're clear at least of this traffic for a second or two is your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place car, and your race leader, Zach Larson, is just still trailing around Eslick trying to get through.
Yeah, it's definitely field is starting to spread out a little bit. That pack that was once 7 or 8 cars at one point, a little bit of traffic there, has now started to dissipate a little bit. So I think we're going to see a little bit more traffic in the intersection as this race goes along.
Big checkup there in the intersection from your race leader, Zach Larson. Now Larson muscling up a little bit and starting to get aggressive with Eslick, and Eslick finally out of the way.
Eslick will spin him.
No! Into the turn. Can Larson keep it going? He can. Can he keep the lead? Here comes Corbett to the inside. Off the turn. Now Larson going to have to pedal and try to keep off Jamie Corbett. He's going to keep the lead. But boy, slower traffic jumps up and bites Larson.
I cannot believe he kept the lead, and now the 49 of Don Eslick will be shut down for the rest of the race for that one.
They are sending him away. So Eslick, bye-bye. Corbett losing ground to Larson. Larson 30 laps in, 20 to go.
Yeah, definitely. I can't. That's definitely good when you have a big enough lead to, if something like that happened, he was able to keep it. Because if he didn't have that lead that he had like at the beginning, it would definitely be a different outcome at this point.
I can imagine Zach Larson breathing a big sigh of relief to get by the 007 of Powers and put one piece of slower traffic in between him and Corbett and Lapato once again, and now has some free run for a little while because it looks like clean air in front of him.
Yeah, for once. This race, he has not had clean air in front of him pretty much almost the whole race, and it's amazing how well of a lead he had at that point.
That was continue on. That was a huge move by Chris Curtis.
Yeah, that definitely was, as they're still trading paint for, I believe that was, 7th or 8th.
So we're coming in. We have got 33 laps into this. Larson has led them all, although not without a little something happening there as he spins all the way around, retakes the lead, and he's now developing that lead once again. Look at the gap that he's put on between himself and Corbett.
And I think it's already bigger than it was from the first point of the race. So because of none of the we were losing those lap cars.
Yeah, this field is thinning out. A lot of the super stock figure 8s are off track now. It's either that or we haven't seen them in a hot minute and they picked up a bunch of speed.
Yeah.
So to the outside, Curtis is starting to find some rhythm, working on Lapato. Back in, steps around on Jillian, and she's going to go around. Oh, Lapato around with a little bit of love from the 74. Let's get a look and see how it happened.
Looks like just got a little loose, and then bumpers matched up with tires, and unfortunately that's how it went down.
Ricky Dietz, quick evasive maneuver to get around. Here's Lapato's end. Yeah. She's in, and just that little extra bit gets her in and around. Well, this is the first stoppage we've seen in this in a very long time, Chad. But up front, Zach Larson's going to have clean air once again with some fast cars now packed in and behind him.
Yeah, so at this point, this is probably exactly what he wanted to see. So everyone's going to be clumped up right behind him because he is definitely the car to beat right now.
Well, let's see if he can get there, get to victory lane, and enjoy an ice cold Busch Beer, the official beer of NASCAR and Evergreen Speedway. Busch Beer, the sound of refreshment, crisp and cold as a mountain stream. Keep your fridge happy by stocking it with Busch and Busch Light. Busch.
Zach Larson is just gone. He is definitely the fastest car on this racetrack. At this point, no one has anything for him. If something else can happen.
Well, something big just happened. Cowboy Carlson just got around Corbett on that restart and is going to tuck in behind Powers. So now it's Carlson's turn to try to make his way through and try to run down Zach Larson. Cars together again. And this time that is, Lapato stopped at the infield, but...
That's 71 of Holton, and he's looking for somebody.
Oh
my.
Yeah, he's headhunting here. Holton not happy. Yeah. Larson, Carlson, Corbett 1 through 3. And more physicality going in and behind that, too. I saw more cars touching each other. However, Larson is getting away as it took Carlson a lap or two to get past Powers' 007.
Yeah, we're going on to 11 laps to go. 22 more times through the intersection. As the 50 car, we'll see. Maybe it just might take him a couple more laps to maybe get into a rhythm, and he might have something for the 83 Larson.
Larson's just got to go at this point in time. Get as far out as you can and hope you don't see another one of the caution flags as he will put Zaretsky down another lap.
And I believe, is this maybe Larson's only second or third time we've seen him this year? I don't remember seeing him out a lot this year.
Second or third. Larson's getting ready to make a trip back to Indiana to run the 3-hour race in the figure eight that they have back there. So he has been saving his equipment a little bit and getting prepped for that journey back to the Midwest. However, decided to come out tonight and trying to take it for a W, and right now looking good. He might have a figure 8 Nationals win in his future. So we're down to just 9 laps to go.
As of right now, he made a good choice. As, Jimmy Powers, I believe he's a lap down.
Yep.
But doing a great job. I mean, they're not blowing his doors off at all trying to get by him. He's definitely keeping his own.
Dakota Wilkinson's 25 is your third place car. Wilkinson trying to figure out his way by, and that's Ricky Dietz. Dietz trying to get to Wilkinson and maybe make a podium here over the last couple of laps. Ricky just throwing that back end of the race car around through the corner and sliding forward.
Yeah, Ricky always likes to drive a very sideways car. As, the 83 of Larson's just clean and clear out in front. I believe Jimmy Powers has a couple podiums for his rookie season so far in the Outlaw figure 8s.
He's had a very good year for his debut season indeed. Larson in clean air. Carlson's not catching him. In fact, that lead continues to expand a little bit for Zach in the 83 car.
Yeah, and looks like the 74 Curtis having an issue as he was slowing down dramatically by the 50 or the 83 of Larson. So it looks like this time by will be 5 laps to go, and Curtis just pulled off.
Yep, one less piece of traffic for Larson to have to navigate through the intersection, although the back tail of that pack is getting a little bit closer. However, he's going to have to pretty significantly check up if Carlson's going to make a big amount of ground up on him. It is Larson coming into 4 to go. Carlson and Wilkinson 2 and 3, and nowhere close to your leader.
Yeah, absolutely nowhere close. And it looks like we got a nephew and an uncle battle for the 3rd and 4th position at this point.
Hey, it's a family matter, right? Wilkinson and Dietz now going after it.
Yeah, so great battle as, at this point, Larson, something catastrophic is going to happen because it is definitely the Zach Larson show.
No commentator's curse this time. No commentator's curse this time.
I'm not. Nope, it's not. Nope.
You've laid the whammy on a couple of guys already.
Let's
see if it doesn't happen
Zach,
this time.
Zach, you got to win this now.
All right, 2 to go for Larson coming through. There is some action in front of him. Those slower pieces of cars that he's rolling into the back of are getting a little squirrely as, Dietz muscling his way by, and Wilkinson's slowing.
Yeah, Wilkinson had an issue. Well, now it looks like he had something happen, and then it must have fixed itself because we're going to the white flag this time by.
That'll work. Jamie Corbett looms up and ahead of your leader, Zach Larson. However, he's just got to make one more intersection pass, and he has home free coming out of the right-hand turns through the intersection clean. Figure 8 Nationals win coming for Zach Larson in the 83. Congratulations to him.
It looks like second will be the 50 of Cowboy John Carlson, and Dietz got 3rd.
Great run there for those 3 to the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium for our interviews.
All righty. You went from flat tire to 3rd place. What is it like charging through all those drivers, weaving your way back and forth through the intersection and coming away with that?
It's a hell of a lot of fun, let me tell you. It's an adrenaline rush and like no other. That race was probably one of the best ones for the crowd, I think, because there was some intersections and it was pretty cool. My car hasn't been so good because I think I mistreated it for a while, and I need to do some work on it. But I got to thank Ryan Berg of Tire Pros, Shop of Arlington, Simmons Garage, J2 Racing, and all these fans, because I wouldn't be able to do this without these fans. Evergreen Speedway for keeping this place open so we can all have fun. And my crew for putting up with me, tearing stuff up. And my girlfriend for putting up with me never being around the house.
Driver the 676, 3rd place tonight, that's Ricky Dietz. I feel it's accurate to say you were patient all night long in that number 15 machine. Put it together well and came home with 2nd place. You've run nationals for a very long time. What is it like to be out there every year in front of crowds like this?
This is what we do to put on a show for you guys. I hope you liked it. We had some good intersection shots there. But yeah, this was one of those races. Guys were playing really rough, and I was just letting them just go up there and just run and knock each other around. I was getting knocked around enough as it was, and I just backed up, let them go, and come home with a 2nd place. We'll take that.
Who helped you put that car together for tonight?
I got my buddy Rick Jones. We got the car tore up a couple of weeks ago. He came over and helped me tear the car apart, and we put her back together. And My old pit guy, Hawk, he's out helping me and Quentin driving the 5-car tonight, and especially my buddy Tony back at his shop. Without the shop, we couldn't do it. And my Cabo local sponsors are here tonight, so thanks to those guys.
Driver the number 50, second place tonight, the Cowboy, John Carlson. Top of the line performance tonight. From the start, you made your way to the front, and you put it together. You made it work. You recovered from that incident. What's it like running that front line with the option to brake occasionally, even at the intersection?
It's just nice to have that gap behind you, just so you can pick and choose and not feel pressure.
You had that 83G in dial tonight. Who helped you put that thing together?
A lot of people. Ryan Gunderson, Richard Shambrook, Keith, they came over last night and helped me get it. We weren't even racing till 4 o'clock yesterday, and we decided to put the car together and come out and race. I'm glad we did now for sure. I got to thank Gunderson Speed Shop and Brunch Bow and Concrete Pumping and Tech Equipment for all their help.
Driver the number 83G, Zach Larson, comes away with the win tonight.
Final segment of the night here on Home Track Heroes on the CW11. Glad you're in with us. Caleb Hart, Chad Fitzpatrick from Evergreen Speedway. It is time for Hornets to finish our night off, Chad. And Hornets, as always, whole bunch of race cars. Interstate Batteries, their division sponsor. And 30 times around today, we're going reverse style, reverse boot?
Reverse road course.
Reverse road course style. All right, front row, Mike Hawley's 11, sponsored by Glen Eagle Golf Course, and Pat Folger's 30, sponsored by Olympia Pizza.
The 85-100 Jenkins, sponsored by Elite Construction Contractors, and the 717 to Diesel Snyder, sponsored by Hair Inc.
The third row, Burger Madness sponsors the 025 Trent Gillespie. Next to him, the 521 Mike Jensen in the car, sponsored by Napa.
85X at Jeremy Smith, sponsored by AAA Transmission and Performance. 28 at Ethan Paint, sponsored by Joe Speed Shop.
The fifth row, Annika Duncan, Misfit Motorsports, the sponsor on the 163, and the 88 of Garrett Kramer, sponsored by Northwest Security and Sound.
The 25 of Stephen Dodson, and on the outside of Stephen, car number 33 of Ryan Hassenflux, sponsored by Cornerstone Homes.
Then you get the G2 of Brad Garul, Granite Falls Community Chiropractic is sponsor. Christian Miller in the 77, sponsored by Turbo Espresso.
The 00 is Dan Miller, sponsored by Exterior Wall Systems, and the 07 of Zach Bristol, sponsored by Gourmet Latte.
The Hair Inc. 15 of Matt Snyder, 81 Bobby Fisher, sponsored by North Sound Fence.
The 17S of Gino Solomon, sponsored by Valley Asphalt, and the 19 of Scarlett Fisher, sponsored by North Sound Fence.
Then Chuck Fisher, DCL Construction, sponsors the 06, and Tegan Bjornson, the 59, sponsored by Misfit Motorsports.
And round out the field, the 32 of Preston Brandt, sponsored by North County Towing, and the 48, our last transfer spot, is the Trinity Russell, and sponsored by CR Gutters.
24 cars, 30 times around, in-car cameras, aplenty here for the Interstate Batteries Hornet Division in their A main event on the reverse road course.
As we are taking the field at 24, a little bit bigger main event than normal, and we are green.
So rolling off the turn and underway. A lot of fast cars all throughout this lineup. Oh, look out, Mike Jensen. Look out!
That's a former Calvin Miller Hornet car, and it's been quite a few years since we've seen Mike Jensen, a former Hornet champion, in a Hornet car, so great to see him back out.
Taking some time away from his late model ride.
Yeah, we haven't seen him this year. I've been wondering why we haven't seen him, but this might be the reason.
You know, maybe he had to wash his hair. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of different reasons that Mike could have been hanging out and doing something different. So, up in the upper left-hand corner of your screen is your race leader, Pat Folger, out in front of the field. Jenkins 2, Snyder 3 here in the early going. As you see them, they built a lot of speed coming down the back straightaway in this iteration of the road course. Then down through the intersection where it's the weight transfer portion of the show. And then into turn 4, I guess turn 1 for them, as it goes just a little bit weird watching cars making almost all right-hand turns.
Yeah, it looks like, we got somebody spinning on the 85X of Jeremy Smith going around. We stay green thus far, as it looks like he will keep on trucking, and we will go green. But we got a lead change. The 85 of Hunter Jenkins will now grab the lead. We got 85's the bookends of the field.
Yes, we do. Jenkins, who you saw earlier in the Stinger 8 main event, out in front, is he's going to pass the other 85 here in a matter of mere seconds. Our final segment of the night here in Home Track Heroes brought to you by Coastal Community Bank. Community is our middle name. Our bankers take time to understand your business and help move it forward. Coastal Community Bank, an equal housing lender, member FDIC.
So Hunter Jenkins, clean and clear out in front. The 717 to Diesel Snyder in second. And I believe that is Trent Gillespie trying to get into that final podium position, and Pat Folger making it very hard for him to do that.
Gillespie usually a guy we see starting further back in the pack. Is look at the neon lit up Nerf bar down the right side of the car. Makes Gillespie hard to not see. It's almost like he's getting ready for the fair.
Yeah, a little bit early. We've got about a month or so until we do that, but great field of cars, 24 strong for this. Had about another 15 car B main earlier in the night, so a very good field of Hornets out here, and Pat Folger in jeopardy of losing the 4th position to the 88 of Garrett Kramer, as he has a really good run going down the backstretch into, I guess that would be turn 2 of the 3/8.
You know, this is an interesting thing because they carry a lot more speed onto our back straightaway than when they're running the normal road course here. They have to make that real sharp left-hand turn to get on the back straightaway during the normal road course. Here they've got a big sweeper, which they can roll the throttle hard into a long ways. This is probably as much speed as these cars carry on any course over what they run here at Evergreen Speedway.
I've ran this course before my rookie year in Hornets, and it is probably one of the most difficult road courses because your body is flying to the opposite side that you're used to. Your body's flying to the left-hand side, which normally on a regular road course or any regular car you're driving out at Evergreen Speedway, your body wants to go to the right-hand side.
How do you navigate this big slowdown that you have to put in right here? Are you stabbing the brake? Are you rolling off the throttle? Combination of both?
I believe when I did it, I was stabbing the brake and then downshifting really fast to get the motor to whoa up the car as well, so you're not on the brake as hard. But yeah, great battle still. The 85 of Jenkins up front. That's probably one of the oldest Hornet cars in the field is what Jenkins is driving. I used to run with that car, and it actually started before me. So I've started out here 13 years ago. So
wow.
Yeah.
So that car's got some laps. It's got some miles on it.
Yeah, the last time I drove a Stinger 8 race, I T-boned that car in the intersection. So it's been around for a while.
Well, clearly you didn't hit it hard enough.
Nope,
because it's still rolling out there.
Yeah.
And Jenkins rolling strong. And again, this course also shows off a lot of car construction. A lot of guys who build cars maybe more for straight up speed as opposed to handle, although they've got to handle just enough to get in through that tight corner and through the intersection as well.
Yeah, and you know, most cars are not meant to, you're not supposed to set up these cars, and you could definitely tell the cars that are because they're struggling.
Well, there's very little that you are allowed to do within them. I joke that Hornet divisions are not necessarily race cars, but cars that you race.
Yeah.
You strip them, you gun them, you put your roll cage into them, but it's not like you can do anything with the motors. There's very little that you can do with the suspension. Basically, you're playing with air pressures. That's your biggest method of making these cars handle better. And even then, some of that's taken out of it because you're turning right and left.
Yeah, so it's almost virtually impossible to set one of these cars up, as we had a little bit of a battle for the lead, and the 85 of Jenkins was able to go away. He does way better on the straightaways than through the corners.
But so far, paying off for him as trying to hang on. Boy, there's a lot of race cars between him and Trent Gillespie, although Gillespie weaving through like a pro and should be closing up here on Jenkins any second now. In fact, that's the bid for the lead on the bottom of turn 4.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. Zach Bristol started way back in the field, is now drifted up into the 4th position, looking to go into the podium spot now.
In fact, was he dead last? He was almost dead last.
I think he started 6th, maybe 18th.
Yeah, okay, not. I can't count. He started deep.
Yeah, and he's going to be we're going to have at least a battle for the lead in the next lap or two, because he is coming in quick to the 85-100 Jenkins. Maybe even this lap here, he looks to the inside of Jenkins as they come down the back straightaway. Let's see how they're going to navigate around Trinity Rosso through the most treacherous part of the track. It looks like we have someone off the track coming through turn 2.
85 on 85 violence again. Love it. Jenkins getting in there as he's coming up on the back of Jeremy Smith's 85X and helps him hold the lead, at least for that time by.
Yeah. If those lap cars weren't there, I think Bristol might have been able to get by, and it looks like this time by. Really good run, but actually that was even a really good run for the 85 of Jenkins going down the backstretch.
Jenkins kind of used Smith as a pick there for a second, held the inside just long enough that Bristol couldn't get by him coming off the corner. Now let's see how they set up once again through 1 and 2 as you're watching Kramer's 88 trying to keep his way through the pack, and that is the 48 of Trinity Rosso, slower traffic piece of car. Now trying to fend off the 81 of Bobby Fisher rolling through.
Yeah, good view from the 07 of Zach Bristol. The left rear or right rear tire is starting to come off the ground of the 85 of Jenkins.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And Gillespie right in there also.
Yeah, another great battle. 5 cars for this lead as Bristol gets a really good burst of speed through the straightaway there. Kind of loses it.
Oh, Jenkins might have pushed a little too hard through that corner, drifted way wide.
He most definitely did, but that was perfect for Zach Bristol, your new leader.
So Bristol's going to take over the lead, although Jenkins has got a bid to the inside, coming into the tight corner, getting through, but couldn't make it work. That allows Bristol to get away. Gillespie third. Hausenfluck has now moved his way. There's like 6 cars bidding for the top spot.
Yeah, they keep clumping together as they keep battling for the lead. Great race so far, 13 laps to go. Zach Bristol racing in memory for Junior Brookover, who unfortunately lost last week. So this, if he can pull this off, as we got the 85 of Jenkins, looks like he broke something.
Slammed together with that slower car and off into Never Never Land, so his run will end. Tough break for Jenkins. You mentioned it, Bristol running motivated there tonight as we lost Junior. A big part of a lot of programs here at Evergreen Speedway, from officiating to crewing, you name it, Junior did a little bit of everything.
He did everything, and he will be definitely missed out here at Evergreen Speedway.
He was a good man as they continue to work on their way through. Bristol looking to take a win in memory of his buddy as he's trying to put Jensen down a lap. We'll go back and take a look at what Bobby Fischer sees directly ahead of him. On the left-hand side of the screen, the blue and red with white number 81. And from the in-car view, you can see what he's chasing down the 3 cars ahead of him.
Yeah, definitely a great view. As this is what I love. I would rather be in Bobby Fischer's position right now, just kind of see where those 2 are slower, so then you can maybe pounce at that point, because everyone is driving different styles in this road course, because they generally don't run this course.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe twice a year at most.
Yeah, and the 717 of Snyder got a little contact between the 88 and Kramer. Great job saving that. That could have been catastrophic.
And look at that. That might be like a 3-for-1 for Fischer coming through that corner.
That was perfect, yeah. Everything kind of the seas parted for Fischer as, a little bit of contact between the 88. Definitely not happy with the
payback's a you-know-what.
Yeah, yeah, especially on this track. I feel like it's a lot easier to catch up to people.
Well, there's certainly opportunities, and again, based on the way that you drive the corners, again, there's drivers who like to carry a lot of momentum into certain spots, and there's some that like to slow way down. So if you want to tag somebody, you're going to find an opportunity to do it.
Yep, and if you do it, you better make sure you're quick.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Bristol in the 07. He's coming up to lap Mike Hawley's 11 car here as laps are ticking away, and Bristol is really stretching this out. He's uncontested right now out front.
Yeah, because I believe the second place position is being held by the 025 of Trent Gillespie, and he has nothing for him at this point. Then we'll go back to the 15 car of Matt Snyder, who won, I believe, a few races ago. Sitting mid-pack so far.
Yep. Interesting, although you do have Gillespie and Hausenfluck, who are normally guys up the front of the field, running in the second and third spot. Let's look backwards a little ways. Fischer's 81 is in 4th, and that is Hausenfluck strung way out to the high side as they're looking to make a Mike Jensen sandwich. Jensen kind of got out of the middle and back down low to hold off Fischer for the time being. That allows Snyder to come back and retake 4th away from Fischer.
Yeah, Mike Jensen, might be having some struggles here. We generally don't hear about him getting lapped in a Hornet car, or lapped at all in general. So this, I believe, was his second race back after about a 3 or 4 year layoff from the Hornet division. So
I was gonna say, so Jensen made a pretty logical progression there. He was a Hornet, then a mini stock, then a late model, right?
Yep, that's a perfect progression. If he went to street stocks too, that's perfect to go up that way, and or mini stocks.
Well, you look at it, the 4-cylinder class, and part of the reason that you have a Hornet division is to be a feeder to your upper classes, right? You can take one of these cars, 4 cylinders, take the motor out of it, go put some work into it, swap out some of the suspension, and then you have a perfectly good mini stock to race.
Oh yeah. And we have seen in years past where they have turned their Hornet car into a mini stock. We don't see it that often, maybe 1 or 2 times, but it has happened.
It will work, or worst case scenario, you got a good Hornet, get some cash out of the deal, and that funds another 4-cylinder car that you're at least used to working on at this point in time.
Yeah, these are definitely fun to drive. I, in fact, have one, and I mean, these things are just a blast to drive.
So coming soon, Chad Fitzpatrick, 125-lap world champion, Hornet racer?
Maybe.
Cool. I'm in.
Well, bring it back to my old roots here.
Hey, seat time is seat time, right?
Mm-hmm. Driving a race car is still driving a race car. You got to do it.
That's right. Well, these guys are carrying good speed out there. Yeah, it's not a 8-cylinder late model out there with those kind of speeds, but it's still a good time, and things still happen very quickly.
Very much so. You learned so much in this class, definitely on how to pass. Definitely the passing. And, you know, these guys don't have radio, so, I mean, big props to these guys, racing guys and gals.
Well, take a look at this. Trent Gillespie, even though he was a ways behind, didn't give up, and he has narrowed this distance. He's closed the gap between himself and Bristol. In fact, they're only a car length apart as we work in through the weight transfer portion of this course. And coming down to 1 to go, we should see the white flag here anytime now.
It's white flag right now.
Right there, okay.
So 1 more lap to go for Zach Bristol, and I believe if he gets this could be win number 2 for him.
Ooh, there we go, and it'd be a big one. Again, running in memory of Junior, as he's going to come in, just got to make a couple of more corners in and through, and Zach Bristol, a meaningful win for him. Congratulations. He's going to get the job done. Checkered flag is out. Bristol wins. Gillespie 2 and Hausen Fluck 3. Let's throw things down to Derek Todoroff on the podium with our interviews.
A simple one. You had a battle for a long time there with Hassenfluck, with Snyder, with Jenkins. A lot of those drivers a little bit younger, specifically Jenkins and Snyder. What's it like racing with drivers of that age here on a course you've run for quite a while?
You just really got to watch what they're doing. Sometimes they'll overdrive, so you can just take them underneath the corner.
And who would you like to thank for the second place finish tonight?
My main sponsor, Amco in Everett. They got the motor and tranny in my car now because the last main I lost second gear. So once again, he pulled it out of his daily, and I'm racing it.
Driver of the 025 comes home second tonight. That's Trent Gillespie. 2 3s on that car coming home third tonight. You also had quite the run there for position with just about everyone for a long time. Kramer, Snyder. I mean, Diesel Snyder's 15 years old. Similar question to what I just asked Trent Gillespie. You've been out here a while. You're the defending champion. What's it like racing with a Youth Hornet graduate like that?
I'm not going to lie, Diesel, sometimes it's a little scary racing with you, but it's fun. He's getting better. All these kids are getting a lot better out here. It's really fun watching them grow and racing with them.
You had a great run out to here tonight. Who would you like to thank for that?
Oh, man, I'd like to thank all my sponsors, Cornerstone Homes, Edwards K&S Construction, Beast Fab and Tuning. They got the motors in my car. Those things are rocket ships. Zach's not here, actually, so never mind. Luke's back in the pits. I got my friends Rachel and the crosser here. Shoot, man, everybody else that helps me out and all you guys for hanging out. Appreciate it.
Driver the number 33, third place tonight, Ryan Hassenfluck. Tonight's an emotional win. A night honoring Junior Brookover, and everything he did to come away with this victory, I know means a lot to you, and it means a lot to all of us. Yeah. Many of us here at Evergreen Speedway had a connection, myself included. And so, how important is it to get this win tonight?
This is the most important thing I've ever had in my life. Junior Brookover, he's my best friend. A brother is what he was. God, he's helped me for like the last 10, 12 years. I knew we had a shot. Like, that car on that course, it was fast. We did a little adjustment and took a page out of his book, persevere, fight through it, and get to the front. I knew it was a long ways, but we made it. There we go.
An emotional win on a big stage and a big night. Who would you like to thank for that performance?
I'm going to thank this woman right here. This is Jenny. This is Beaner's widow. She took care of him the last 3-4 years while he fought cancer. And on that note, guys, get screened every year. Just, cancer sucks. It really does. Just get tested. Just make sure you're clean. Hornet Nest Racing, they're back there helping me so much. Tommy Candy Hibbs, Jimmy Powers, Gourmet Latte, PMS Power Decals. I'm going to forget a lot. I'm about to just break right here, but I'm sure my sponsors will understand this week. We'll get back on the podium and see if we can thank them properly next time.
An emotional win. First place tonight, driver of the 07, that's Zach Bristol.
Well, Fun episode of Home Track Heroes. A lot happened. Congratulations to our new Figure 8 Nationals winners. And, well, coming up, we got a big show on the way for you, Chad. This is going to be huge.
Lots to get through.
That's right. So coming up next week here on Home Track Heroes, we're going 2 parts. It's going to be part 1 of the Summer Showdown here at Evergreen Speedway. It includes a lot of late model racing. The pro late models going to the 5/8. I think we'll probably see that on part 1, but we're not 100% sure yet. So that'll be a good time, and you're looking forward to it as well.
Most definitely.
All right. So beyond that, the next time you can come to Evergreen Speedway is coming up Saturday the 29th. The sprint cars are making their final tune-up before the War of the Wings coming up on Saturday, August the 5th. Make your plans to be here with us then. Thank you so much to all of our production crew here on Home Track Heroes, Derek and Griffin, and all the gang, Brandy for the in-car shots. And for Chad Fitzpatrick, I'm Caleb Hart. So long, everybody. We'll see you next week here on Home Track Heroes on the CW11.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on CW11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.